Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel Hairliciously. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe so you guys are updated on hair loss and hair transplant topics, as well as updates on current hair loss treatments in the pipelines. Visit my website at hairliciously.com to purchase your microneedling device, which is scientifically proven to stimulate hair growth, my low-level laser therapy cap, DHA blocking shampoo, conditioner, serum, hair growth vitamins, and a few other products to help those who are losing hair. Now in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about a new emerging biotech company called HANBIO that is currently in the works of coming up with stem cell multiplication therapy to treat androgenic alopecia. They said that they are going to plan on starting phase 1 clinical trials sometime later this year, and it is a South Korean based company, and as you may know, Korea is one of the most advanced countries when it comes to technological advances, the field of medicine, cosmetic surgery, hair transplants. So it's always fascinating, at least in my opinion, when we come across the news that they are looking for better treatments for treating androgenic alopecia. I've been getting a few requests to cover this company, and I've also seen this company pop up on several hair loss forums on Trestless. So I figured that I would give you guys an update on what this hype is all about. But before I get started, let me introduce the CEO of HANBIO, Chairman Kang Da-wheat. And as you guys can tell for yourselves, this guy also is afflicted with genetic hair loss. Basically, his company has developed a technology to mass produce and cultivate hair follicles through dermopapilla cells, which we know play a pivotal role in hair formation. He makes a pretty bold claim that a single strand of hair is enough to cultivate enough cells to reproduce about 30,000 hair strands. The average person has like 100,000, 150,000 hairs based on ethnicity. So this means that with just like 4 to 5 strands of hair, they can cultivate enough cells to go from a bald person to someone with a full head of hair. I don't know. I just feel like it is a pretty bold statement to say at the very least. I don't know. This technology sounds pretty similar to that of Dr. Suji or Rogaine, as well as Reposol Shiseido tissues, where they are developing a culture method to amplify hair follicle epithelial and mesenchymal stem cells while maintaining the ability to regenerate hair follicles. So back in April of last year, the CEO of HANBIO had an interview with the Korea Post, and they discussed some questions regarding the cell therapy in more detail. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, so this is from the KoreaPost.com. HANBIO succeeds in the mass culturing of dermopapilla cells for the hair loss treatment. Kang Da-wheat, chairman of the HANBIO group, says the company has developed chopping technology to cultivate and grow hair strands in a massive way. We have succeeded in the mass culturing of dermopapilla cells called HDPC that play significant roles in hair growth and formation. In an interview with the Korean Post, the chairman stressed that using this technology, it would take a single strand of a patient's hair to cultivate enough cells to reproduce about 30,000 hair strands. Following is a summary of the interview. What is the reason that HANBIO became interested in hair loss treatment? Answer, I don't have much hair. I'm a Christian, and I got the idea of cultivating hair cells during prayer at dawn when I came to work one day. Recommended Yoon Jong-in, now CEO of HANMOBIO, to cultivate hair cells. Yoon was not interested, but after a month, she started incubating dermopapilla cells. We have used our own methods while at the same time referring to numerous documents. We finally succeeded in the mass culturing of dermopapilla cells in its own way. At first, we thought it would be amazing if we can reproduce 10,000 hair strands with 1,000 strands, but it grew to as many as 30,000 strands. There are 3,000 dermopapilla cells in each hair follicle. We need to tear off the cells that are clumped together to cultivate them. The dermopapilla cells absorb nutrients from the blood through capillaries to grow hair. It is a cell that plays a pivotal role in hair growth and formation. While we use chemicals or interfered with cell culture in the past to tear off the cells, we now physically separate them and create conditions that allow them to grow pure. This is the patented chopping technology. Using this technology, we separate cells and cultivate them and grow them up to 30,000 strands. So that's a lot. That's a lot of hairs. So how do you extract the dermopapilla cells? These cells can only be reliably stored at affiliated hospitals. At local anesthesia, we have a hair follicle transplant to extract even the hair root. When we arrive at the lab within 24 hours in a frozen transport container, lab extracts the dermopapilla cells by separating them. Isn't it difficult to extract? What about extraction time and cost? So basically, the director of our affiliated hospital, H Clinic, stores hair follicles himself. He is the best veteran doctor who has involved in hair transplants for a long time. But collecting dermopapilla cells from the lab requires a rigorous standard of facilities. What is more, the efforts of skilled researchers are needed. It takes about 10 minutes to store hair follicles from the hospital But if you include the time to separate the dermal papilla cells in the lab, it can take more than 30 minutes. The entire cost involves collecting hair follicles, separating dermal papilla cells, and freezing them. We don't charge extra for collection only. How many strands are there in the hairs of ordinary people? It is about 6,000 strands from the front to the back. The top of the head has about 3,000 strands. The whole strands can grow up to 30,000. Our cell banking service costs 4.8 million won, including incubation when needed, and is stored for 40 years. So 4.8 million won is like, I think it's a little over $4,000 USD. Did you record any sales or received actual customers? Dermal papilla cell banking service started in late December 2010, and it's now about 3 months old, and the cells have been stored by about 300 people so far. Not much is publicized yet, but monthly banking service customers are rising substantially. When do you think it can be commercialized? I think the word commercialization is linked to a procedure called clinical studies under the Advanced Regenerative Biological Law, which went into force in August 2020. In the past, if clinical studies took effect through 123 trials like general pharmaceutical products and went into commercialization, cell therapies under the Advanced Regeneration Bio Law has opened the way for us to do it ourselves. Clinical studies, which are expected to begin in the second half of this year, are needed for commercialization, but we are confident that it will be fully commercialized within a year or two. So, I mean, just like Japan, they have like their own expedited pathway program, which just went into effect like less than 2 years ago, which is pretty good. Since we are cultivating dermal papilla cells, however, we are already finished analyzing the dermal papilla cells. To be more specific, it is a variety of growth factors that are released during the incubation of the dermal papilla cells. We are considering releasing hair care products or hair loss treatments in the second half of this year. I think shampoo, which is a regular hair care product, will come out faster because hair loss treatment products also need to go through various procedures. As we see it, there are 3 fundamental solutions to overcoming hair loss. First, the banking of dermal papilla cells. Second, transplant through cell culture. Third, hair loss control treatment. And hair care products, if we bank healthy hair cells in advance, incubate and transplant them if necessary, and take care of our hair health, I think humans will be able to overcome complete hair loss. Are there anything else you would like to add? We HanBio are a cell banking specialized bio corporation, and our goal is to become the world's best bio company that is dedicated to saving many lives. Saving many lives. Not only does HanBio's hair loss solutions make Korea the hub of the hair loss treatment, but we also dream of giving many patients fighting cancer a new life through NK, natural killer immune cells, and treating incurable diseases through stem cells. We aspire to be the best global company in this field. Now, I feel like the idea of stem cell multiplication is eventually going to cure hair loss in the sense that an infinite supply of hair follicle stem cells are available for cultivation and implantation. The limitation that we currently have with hair transplantation is the lack of an infinite number of hair grafts in the back of our donor zone that can be implanted. So this will definitely be the path, or at least one of the paths, in getting a full head of hair back. Per the interview, they have their dermal papilla cell storage service, which stores hair follicle stem cells. And this also sounds awfully like a company that I talked about a while back, Hair Clone from the UK. I don't know if you guys remember, but they also have their hair follicles cryopreserved for future treatment. So, pretty cool that Korea is also starting to, I guess, get more involved in stem cell therapy for treating hair loss. And it's also a good thing that the recent law has provided a expedited pathway program to help fast track the market entry of regenerative medicines and also biologic drugs. Personally, at this point, I think Reposol and Shiseido is the likely candidate to even come up with something out in the market. As far as their clinical trials, they seem to be ahead of everyone in the game. And the only issue with them is that their arbitration claim with Reposol and also their recent, their license termination, and also their pending phase 3 clinical trials. But I don't know, just honestly speaking, anytime that I hear about these smaller companies that are currently racing to treat hair loss through stem cell multiplication, I can't lie, man. It's partially disheartening, not because I feel like the technology or the science behind it is flawed or anything like that, but so many of these companies just create hype and there's nothing at the end. Companies like Dr. Suji, Rogaine have been researching for well over a decade with nothing to offer. Same goes for some of these other biotech companies like Hair Clone, Stemson Therapeutics, Tissues, Epic Biotech. And at the end of the day, I try to be optimistic about these treatments, but what we really need to focus on is the present. Instead of putting all of our eggs into treatments that aren't available, we need to focus on the ones that are proven to help and slow down the progression of hair loss. The other day, I actually had a colleague at work that came up to me, and I never knew who this guy was, since I work in this big building with hundreds and hundreds of people. And for those who don't know what I do, I work for Homeland Security. But anyway, he asked me if I was Hairliciously. So I said yes. I am Hairliciously. I run the channel. And he then shared with me some of his concerns that he had with with his hair loss. And as you know, it's never a good thing if somebody recognizes me out in the public, because that means that you are also likely to be suffering from hair loss. He came up to me and he was talking about his thinning hair, and he was like, I don't know, like a good Nord 5 or so. He had some pretty strong miniaturization in the crown area on the mid scalp. And he told me that he wasn't taking finasteride because he was counting on all these better treatments that he thought were going to be available, including stem cell multiplication. And this is like a huge mistake, because this guy knew about 5-AR inhibitors. He knew that it can help him slow down further hair loss, and this was years back, right? He didn't get on it because of his expectations of better treatments, and as a result, he delayed his treatment, and he probably dropped like 2 Nord levels at the very least. And this is the kind of thinking that people really need to throw away. Sticking with proven and available medication, 5-AR inhibitors, growth stimulants like Minoxidil, anti-androgens, and get that hair loss controlled before it gets worse. Don't count on treatments that aren't available, because it's been well over 2 decades without any new innovative treatments, and this also includes stem cell therapy. If it happens in the near future, that's great. If it doesn't, at least you guys are being proactive in doing what you can to stabilize hair loss. I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that. This is obviously great news that they are striving for better treatments. I'm just being optimistically cautious, because 9 times out of 10, usually nothing comes out of these companies. But that's just my rant for this video. And let me know your thoughts on stem cell multiplication therapy for treating hair loss. I would love to see what some of you guys have to say. As always, thanks for all of your support, guys, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Take care.